Hello, this is Daniel Mart, and today I'm going to be doing a review on A Nightmare on Elm Street, the original 1984 version. And this movie stars Robert Englund, John Saxon, Ronnie Blakely, Heather Langenkamp, Amanda Wise, Nick Corey, also known as Jesus Garcia, Johnny Depp, Charles Fisher, Joseph Whipp. So yeah, before I begin though, 10-second spoiler warning as usual for those who have yet to actually watch this movie and haven't already. Stop the video, go check it out and come back here and watch the rest of this review. 10-second spoiler warning as usual, starting now. Okay, so 10 seconds are up, so for those who have yet to actually watch this movie and haven't already, please don't comment down below or be messaging me that I never gave you a fair warning, because as usual, I did. So as usual, quick synopsis, likes and dislikes, and then the rates. So in this movie, you have Freddy Kruger, and he's this serial killer, basically. And what had happened with him, his backstory is that he was this child murderer. He went after children, and he murdered them. And one day, after a trial, because he was released innocent, although guilty. He was innocent because of some technicalities. He was sent back to his house so he could live the rest of his life. The parents did not like this, so they burned his house down and then shot him. Flash forward about 20 years later, and now we have our main group of characters who are being hunted down by Freddy Krueger as a revenge to those who basically burned him and then killed him alive. Overall, it's actually a really fun movie in my opinion. I didn't really think that I was going to have this much fun in this movie. I thought I was going to be a bit more scared, to be honest. I thought it was going to be a bit more horrific, in my opinion, but due to the fact that this movie does feel a bit dated, I'm not going to lie. There are elements of this movie that do feel dated, and I think that's why I had a bit more fun with this movie than I had initially expected. So yeah, I memean, overall, it's a good movie. It is a great horror movie, in my opinion. As far as horror movies go, it's definitely one of the classics, along with Halloween, Psycho, Friday the 13th. You know, it does stand there as one of the great classic horror movies of all time. It should be considered a classic horror movie, but there are elements of this movie that does feel dated, in my opinion. And to be more specific, sometimes the special effects, especially the one special effect where it's Freddy Krueger and his arms are extended, that looks a bit dated in my opinion. And I know they use practical effects, which although it does look good, it still does feel a bit dated. Horror is pretty good in my opinion. I don't think it's as good or great as many people think it is, in my opinion. I just don't find it that impressive as a whole, but I will say that the score is good. I just don't find it impressive like the Halloween one is. But sometimes the sound, like when people are talking, I feel like it feels kind of far away, in my opinion. Like you can't really hear the actors sometimes, and that's just, I don't know if that's just me, and I did put the volume up kind of high, regularly put it at, so maybe it's just me, maybe not, but that's just something I thought of as well. The acting, in my opinion, is not good, in my opinion. They do try to give a good performance as a whole, but they're just a little bit underacting, in my opinion. I just feel like they could have given a bit more, which is pretty funny, in my opinion, because the actress for Nancy says that this is her favorite performance of all time. So yeah, man, it may be her favorite, it's not her best, I'll say that much. So yeah, overall though, it is a pretty good movie. The deaths are gory, again, with Johnny Depp and his character Glenn. He dies, you know, pretty iconic. He gets sucked into his bed and then a fountain of blood just kind of spews out. That was pretty interesting, in my opinion, or gory as a whole. Then there's the one guy who was in jail because they thought that he killed his girlfriend Tina, and when it was Freddy Krueger, but he gets sent to jail because they accuse him of murdering him, and then he kind of gets strangled to death with his bed sheets, which that was interesting in my opinion. That was actually pretty cool. I will say though, I do think that the police officers, because he was yelling for help for a long time, I do feel like someone would have at least heard him. So I did assume that they would have rushed a bit. So I do feel like his death could have maybe been prevented. So yeah, if any death could have been prevented, it probably would have been his, to be honest. Aside from that, you also have Tina's death, which is actually pretty gory as well. She gets kind of stabbed in her sleep, and then she just kind of crawls up the wall like the Exorcist. So yeah, I mean, overall, that's our gory, and that's, again, surprising because this was made on a basically shoestring budget, like many horror movies of this time. And then just to be so successful, overall, it's great in my opinion. Set design is actually pretty good in my opinion. And yeah, aside from that, that's basically it for now. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, and 6 being decent, I'll give this movie an 8 out of 10. It was pretty good in my opinion. It was a bit more fun than I thought it would be, but then again, that's mostly due to the fact that it feels so outdated. And yeah, it's basically it for now. Subscribe, comment down below, like the video, share on Facebook, Twitter, or whatever you guys prefer. And that's basically it for now. This is Daniel Mart, signing off.